No, Carly Simon, Joe. I believe in the Bond video, you said it had a pretty good shot.
Just missed. Just missed.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Listography. Jason, Joe, and Krams are here. Songs of the Year, 1977, episode 20 of the series. This will be two full decades since starting in 1958. Yeah, we are rolling right along. I don't know what to say in these intros. They're all the same, a little better, a little worse than the 70s. I don't know. I like this year. I found a lot of cool little odd and end kind of tracks that I didn't really have in my mind going into the week, but I'm happy with my list. How are you guys feeling?
Feel pretty good. Definitely got some great stuff from the Hot 100. There were a lot of nominees for Worst Song. And I think overall you can kind of see how rock and roll over the last 7 to 10 years has, in my opinion, taken a bit of a turn for the worse when you've got Eagles and Steve Miller and Marshall Tucker and all of these like flooding the top 100. Bit different than when you had the Who, the Stones, the Doors, stuff like that. But that's just my 2 cents.
It's a step up from 76. Kind of the beginning of the end, though, for rock. It's getting pretty bloated. All of my songs are like why punk was invented to counter like the, pomposity that was starting to take hold. But I love it. So I love 77. Great year.
Well, I guess we can jump in. If you're new here, we pick 5 songs from the Billboard Hot 100. Had to have charted, but could have charted for just 1 week and been number 100. It's still eligible as long as it was on the charts for 1 week. Then we do a second list of 5 songs, and those songs can be anything. Those are our wild card selections. Could have also charted, could be deep cuts, could be B-sides, anything at all. One of those lists will be one song short because we save our winner for the end. And we also give you our least favorite top 40 track of the year. I believe it's my turn to kick it off.
Then do so.
All right, Hot 100, here we go. Starting off with David Bowie, Sound and Vision from his Low album. Awesome groove, great bass line by George Murray. Really oddly constructed song. Pieces kind of come in, it builds up slowly. Eventually you get the guitar line and the female and male backing vocals coming in before Bowie's lead. He doesn't start singing until about 1:45 into the song, which is really strange. But when he gets there, it's awesome. Love that tune. Next, I'm going with a country song. I've got Lukenbach, Texas, Back to the Basics of Love by Waylon Jennings. A little help from Willie Nelson. Cool song about this high society couple who feel like their relationship's getting strained and they want to get back to a basic way of living. So they're going to move out to Lukenbach, Texas. Song was written by Chip Moman and Bobby Evans. It was pitched to Waylon because they mentioned his name in the song, so they decided to try to get him to record it. He did. He never liked the song. He didn't like it at first, but he said he knew it was a hit immediately, so he recorded it. My next pick, Joe was talking about these kind of like big rock tunes coming out in this year, and there's a bunch of them, but I love this one. It's If You've Got the Time by the Babies. Great tune, really cool guitar riff. The Babies, if you don't know, is John Waite's band before he went solo. It's also the band that Jonathan Cain came from, who was eventually Journey's keyboard player, but Jonathan Cain was not yet in the Babies at this point. But it's a great rock song, killer riff, and it's just got this big power pop chorus with great harmonies. Killer tune. Then, even more over the top than that, I've got a track by the band Angel called That Magic Touch. Angel's kind of a silly band. They kind of modeled their stage show after Kiss, but they were Angels, so they all wore white. Kind of ridiculous, but this song is so good. The chord progression and the melody and the way they work together is so great. I love the guitar leads on it from Punky Meadows. Admittedly, the synth horn line on it is pretty cheesy sounding, but the rest of the song is just absolutely killer. And my winner for the year comes from the Hot 100, so I'm going to save that for later.
Wow. A couple of ones I don't know that I'll have to check out, like Angel. They sound terrible, but I will listen to it for sure. Don't remember the last time we shared one, but we do. I got David Bowie with Sounds and Vision. It's awesome. It's got such a cool like art rock blend with like kind of a groovy later disco, almost disco beat, not really, but definitely different than his early glammy period. Everything you said about it is on the mark. I am going to throw some punk in there with the Ramones with Sheena is a Punk Rocker, channeling a bit of the Beach Boys with a little bit of surfer rock in the verse. Very cool sounding. I think their songs are a lot prettier than people give them credit for. I mean, they're pretty darn catchy. I like them a lot. Then I've got one that could probably get me the win if it was truly my favorite of the year. Salisbury Hill by Peter Gabriel of his debut. Absolutely tremendous, simple little guitar part, really cool shuffle in the percussion, and the way he sings it is just, it cuts like a knife. It's so sharp and smooth. He sounds so great. It's a beautiful tale. It's a great song. The lyrics are tremendous, and just that simple, like, synthy horn kind of it's just so freeing and feels like you're flying over like the Colorado Rockies or something. It's gorgeous. Then I got a couple off my album of the year, which we were talking before, and I wasn't sure that I would have any from Rumors, but I do. I've got You Make Loving Fun. I love it. It's just got a tremendously positive, pretty chorus to it. It's got a really cool, smooth groove, and all the little electric guitar touches on it are just fantastic. And I also got Go Your Own Way, which probably say is one of his better vocal performances for me in the group. I think it's a great song. It's got a pretty interesting kind of like beat to it where it almost sounds like it's not connecting, but it really does going into the chorus. It's very cool. I think it's a tremendous song off a tremendous album. So those are my 5. My winner did not chart, and it will not win. I'm just going to preface that. I am coming in dead last with my winner.
All right, we have a interesting situation here. We'll get to it in a second. My number 5, going to be Barracuda from Heart. It's Achilles' Last Stands. Big triplet, heavy rock groove, repurposed as a kiss off to some sexist DJ. I love the use of harmonics and sustain in the solo. It's a really kind of cool, unique sounding song from Heart. Probably the only time they're ever going to make my list. Number 4, this is very weird. Jason picked If You've Got the Time from them. I'm going to go with Isn't It Time from the Babies. Weird coincidence. This one is sort of like a rocker melded with like a big R&B track. It's got like these cool backing vocals, really distinctive piano part. And it just doesn't sound like, I heard this song and I was like, oh, the Babies, they must be awesome. And nothing else they did sounded like this. It wasn't written by them, but it's a really cool kind of unique sounding track. Number 3, I'm going to go with someone we just had a lot of experience with, Turn to Stone from Electric Light Orchestra. Kind of moving towards disco, but it's still, in the pop rock genre with nice orchestration, classic ELO. I like the way it kind of like comes out of nowhere and drops you right into the song. Number 2, just refer you to the shirt. I'm gonna go with the very subtle Love Gun. I'm not sure what it's about, but I love it. And just the guitar solo, the verse, chorus, very simple but super catchy, performed like it's, the last song they're ever going to play. Just so much energy and passion in this one. Must be about a really important topic. But number 1, going back to the Brothers Johnson for their cover of the Shuggy Otis tune, Strawberry Letter 23. The original's great, but I like this one better. A little sped up, extra funky. The bass in particular, obviously, Brothers Johnson, great bass player there. The Shuggy Otis one kind of ends on the solo, kind of trailing out. This one like comes back in a cool way and goes back into the verse or chorus, and just it got a little extra funk to it. And it's a great song, and they just make it their own and add a little extra. So there you go. There's my top 5 for 77 from the pop charts.
We have recorded ELO, but it has not aired yet. So you don't have to go looking through our YouTube catalog to find it. Joe struggles with the fourth dimension of the scheduling of our videos.
All right, wildcard time. This first one, I think, charted very early in 78, was a pretty big hit. I think it went to like number 11 or something like that. Didn't chart in 77, but I'm trying my best to stick to the actual release year. So I'm putting it on my wildcard list this year. I think this is a perfect pop song. I've got Baby Hold On by Eddie Money. Love the production on it. The bass sounds huge, and I love that lead in the beginning. I don't know if it's a guitar or a keyboard or what exactly it is, but that it's so good. I love it. Then I've got Cheap Trick with Hot Love. They just plow through this song with reckless abandon. It's so awesome. Rick Nielsen's guitar work on this song is incredible. It's almost like it's a pop song, but the way he's playing is got so much like punk energy and attitude. It is so cool. After that, I'm going with a track called Looking for the Magic by the Dwight Twilley Band. Power pop, really good, full of hooks. I love the drums on this track. It's got these weird like tremolo vocals in the verses. Guitars themselves are full of hooks. This whole song just kind of builds momentum and kind of just ends up steamrolling you with catchiness. And then I'm going to go with Thin Lizzy with Dancing in the Moonlight from their Bad Reputation record. This song's like a straight up R&B pop tune. I was always kind of surprised that Lizzy was so like fully embraced by the metal community with songs like this in their catalog that are so far removed from metal. You've got like jazzy sax running through this thing. Phil's vocals sound amazing singing this style, though. I think it's one of their catchiest tunes. Really love it. And then my last wild card is going to be Baltimore by Randy Newman. Great tune. You got Glenn Frey and John David Souther singing backing vocals. Fry's on guitar also. You got the amazing Willie Weeks on bass. Just really cool song. He's singing kind of, poorly of Baltimore, talking about urban decay and how decrepit the city is. And people in Baltimore at the time were a bit offended by it. And he says they have the right to be offended because he knew nothing of the city at the time he wrote it. He had never been there, just driven past it. But it still works. You can apply this to a number of cities across the US with the same sort of issues. It doesn't really have to specifically be about Baltimore, but really cool song. Really like it. So there you go.
So here are my wild cards. I'm going to keep with the Rumors stuff. My favorite song off Rumors. I've got Secondhand News. Amazingly chipper sounding song that is really just a big F you. It's a great kiss-off song. It's, I don't want to be second fiddle. It's just tremendous. And it sounds so good. The low end with like the bass and like the muted strings on like the electric guitar kind of sounding acoustic, creating just like that bounce to the song. It's so cool. And for some reason, the bow, 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 but the bow, it's so catchy to me. It brings a smile upon my face. I love it. I'm going to go with a bit of a different mood here. I'm going to go heavy dark prog with Rush, Cygnus X1 from A Farewell to Kings. Just really heavy and awesome, brooding and kind of dark with like this weird, like sinister solar atmosphere kind of flair to it. And it's one of their more metal songs for sure. Like there's nothing that complicated about what they're playing other than there's like a bunch of parts to it, but it's just so heavy and awesome and just tearing through it on drums and guitar. Getty's screeching is awesome. I'm going to go with one I'm suspecting Joe might have. I've got Deacon Blues from Asia. Absolutely, love the vocals, drinking scotch and whiskey all night long and die behind the wheel. It's so cool. It's just got one of their best just jazzy flares to it while just telling a great short story. And then finally, one that is my legit number 2, one of my favorite songs ever, but is not going to win. Probably would get me the win if I did pick it, but I'm not here to sell out. I've got Heroes by David Bowie. Absolutely beautiful song. Loved the use of it, by the way, in a recent film called Jojo Rabbit, which everyone should see. But it's got like such a sense of promise, and it's like so uplifting, and it's just got that great steady beat to it with that like high end kind of soaring guitar. I think it's done with an ebo. I'm not sure, but it's just got such just like this vibe of just hope to it. It's such a cool song, but it's also kind of bittersweet at the same time. Really great song about life. Chokes me up. Some people will tell you that the Peter Gabriel cover is better. Not me, but I do like it. But this version is absolutely fantastic and is my second favorite song of 1977.
Who's ever said the Peter Gabriel version is better? I've never heard that.
Probably Peter Gabriel and the people from Stranger Things.
I don't even think Peter Gabriel would think that. I share one with you, Cramser, my boy. You picked the words right out of my mouth, basically. Secondhand News by Fleetwood Mac. Best track off Rumors. That heavy like, disco rhythm almost, like the chunking acoustic guitar, the joyful singing, even though it's like a total FU, and to the person in the band performing it with you, which makes it even more delicious. Just a really, really great song. And he's just Lindsey Buckingham is such an underrated guitarist. I just love his work. Speaking of Peter Gabriel, let's go with Moribund the Burgermeister, one of my many revelations from when we did Peter Gabriel solo. Very Genesis-like, would fit like right at home on Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. Just like that pulsating, weird synth, and the way it goes from sort of like quiet, introspective to huge, just really weird, unique song about, I believe, St. Vitus's disease or St. Vitus's disease. Somebody in the comments pointed that out because it was on my Halloween list. So creepy as hell, but I love the whole production of it. My top three, man, I went back and forth on this. So hard to choose. I love all these songs like children. But my number three, first time appearing on my charts, I'm going to go with a little Lynyrd Skynyrd, That Smell. Never liked this song growing up, and then I kind of realized what it was about, drugs and death and sort of just the miasma of the 70s. Just a really cool song. The drums and bass are amazing, and the interlocking guitar parts at the end. Just love it. I love Lynyrd Skynyrd. They haven't appeared on my list at all, but I still like them a lot. And number two, man, this really should be the winner. It's so close. I got to go with Bat Out of Hell from Meatloaf as my runner-up in this year of really epic, long, bloated rock songs. It doesn't get much more bloated than this, but the Todd Rundgren solo to kick it off, that great piano. It's like heavy metal Bruce Springsteen. I love it. I love every second of it, every second of the 9 minutes and 50 seconds or whatever it takes. Just a wonderful story song, and love the performances all around. Just a really unique track from my boy Meatloaf. So could have been a winner, but I got one that's just a little bit, I think I like a little bit better. So we'll save that for the winners.
All right. Worst of the year. I'm going with a song that could be a strong contender for the worst cover of all time. I've got Surfin' USA by Leif Garrett. Ooh, man, this, we had all those Donny Osmond tracks that were just god awful earlier in the 70s. This is as bad, but at the same time, just totally butchering a great Beach Boys tune. So it's hard to stomach. It's just really awful. And I know Leif's had a rough life, and I don't mean to speak ill of him, but this is not good.
My worst song of the year is totally original. No one else could put out crap like this. It's got to be Jimmy Buffett with Margaritaville. No one is going to convince me otherwise that this guy just isn't the biggest piece of crap entertainer in the world. Why the word tacky is in the dictionary. A couple years ago, there was this new guy at work and telling him like what a big like music geek I was, and he was like, "Oh yeah, man." And he's like, "And you know what's sad? Like people that are like younger than us, they just don't get it. Like they don't appreciate, the greats like the Beatles or Pink Floyd or Jimmy Buffett." And I was just like, what? That's your Trinity? You're throwing Jimmy Buffett in with that? This song is just terrible. The lyrics are god awful. That lame, pseudo Caribbean, like dun, 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 dun. There's no like quality to his singing at all, other than just sounding like every dad ever. Like it's just bad. There's no musicality to this at all, and it's just terrible.
Good choice. Not a parrot head or whatever the hell they call themselves. I don't think any of us are. I didn't realize that song was this old though. I didn't realize it was crap way back in the 70s like that. My worst song for 77. This appears on a lot of worst song of all time lists. It was the longest running number one in chart history until who beat it? Boyz II Men beat it with 12 consecutive weeks. I'm going with, of course, You Light Up My Life from Debbie Boone from some play or something. I don't know. It sucks. I can't imagine. Like I get pissed now when songs I don't like hit number one, but I can't imagine being in like 1977 and having that be like the most popular song of all time. So yeah, it sucks and I hate it.
Side note before we get to our winners, Joe, you will be happy to know that in my short list, or not so short, probably in my top 30 songs that I had listed for the Billboard, I did have Knowing Me, Knowing You by ABBA in contention. It was an early cut, but it was there.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
All right, my winner. You guys have talked a lot about this record already. Going with some Fleetwood Mac, but I'm going with a different song than you guys had. I've got Dreams taking it home for me in 77. I think it's a great song written by Stevie Nicks, but more so than maybe any other song so far that I've chosen as a winner. My love of this track has as much to do with the song itself, or maybe more, is the recording. I think this is one of the pinnacles of recording in all of history. I think this song sounds so ridiculously good. Every instrument has its own little space carved out. You can hear everything perfectly. The arrangement is amazing. The way the guitar is just kind of coming in with lines, creating all this atmosphere. The layered vocals sound incredible. I think people have gotten so used to just hearing it through their radio or like through the speaker at the grocery store or through their phone speaker. I think it's easy to forget that the song is like so everywhere that it's easy to forget how good it sounds unless you take a good set of headphones and just like sit in the dark and listen to it, because it's one of those tracks that really deserves that kind of careful attention, because the detail in the recording and in the arrangement is unbelievable.
That's how I feel about Secondhand News. I think that's the best example of how good Rumors sounds, but I like Dreams a lot, but probably my second least favorite song on the album. And I still think it's really great. I mean, it was a slam dunk winner for me. All right, here is my bronze medal for the voting community this year. No way I'm going to win, and I don't think you guys have any idea that this is coming, but I have got The Hand That Feeds by Aerosmith from Draw the Line. I'm going deep cut, dirty ass, awesome hard rock, juxtaposed against a year that has Jimmy Buffett, Leif Garrett, even the hard rock. You're still getting Steve Miller Band and Marshall Tucker and the Eagles and stuff like that. And this song is just piss and vinegar. It's so dirty and awesome and kind of like unattractive sounding at first. Like it just opens with him screeching and just like this weird kind of clunky bass line. Some of the playing is just so remarkable on it. The way the guitar solo just takes off. And then the outro, when the bass and everything just starts to like double time and go faster and just sends the song off. So cool. They're just, you can just see them strutting like they're just more sexual and badass and confident than every other rock group that's pretty much out there right now. It's dirty. It's, unadulterated. It sounds just so rock and roll and smoky and boozy. And it is just an awesome rock song. I think it's one of the most underappreciated rock and roll hard rockers ever. And that's what I got. The Hand That Feeds by Aerosmith. Favorite song is 77.
That is a surprise. I'm shocked by that. And I forgot that album came out this year. Probably have to kick Barracuda off to put in Draw the Line. But we won't worry about that because who cares? My number one, Dreams, obviously, is going to be the winner here. Fantastic song. I almost put it on my list. One of my favorite guitar solos of all time. And it's like 8 notes long, and just the way it comes in and out, it's beautiful. But I kind of like Secondhand News a little bit more because it's not so ubiquitous. My winner, though, however, is going to be Sheep from Pink Floyd. I just love this track. It's so creepy and like freaky. That like unsettling jazzy intro. Roger Waters, they put like that phaser thing on his voice so that after every phrase, it kind of like this weird, effect that kind of trails out. And like just everything about it, that plodding, ominous, repetitive bass line underneath, like it barely moves the whole time. It just builds up this like really just creepy atmosphere that I really like. Of course, you have the Animal Farm references. And the song that started it all, my overuse of the word incendiary, David Gilmour's guitar on this, just amazing. Big, like chunky guitar slides that he does where he's doing like whole octaves instead of just like a single note. I've never heard it in another song. I never heard him do it in any other song. Just so unique sounding. All the different parts just come together. It's 10 minutes long. Just a big, bloated, ominous, kick-ass rock song, though. I love it. I love the way it trails off at the end after it shifts into like the fourth part, a little more triumphant. Just really awesome guitar work again from Gilmour as it kind of fades out and you get the sheeps bleeding and stuff. Just everything about it. I love it. I know it inspired punk to come along and kick off good old progressive rock, but screw punk. I like Animals. I think it's the best song of 1977.
I am shocked that you don't have a single Steely Dan song on your list this year.
No ABBA either.
Well, there wasn't an ABBA album, I don't think. I don't know. I can't remember if the album came out this year or next year. Now, again, we're getting into these situations where songs keep charting the year after they come out. So don't worry about Asia. It'll be well represented.
I believe Dreams recharted this year or last year because of that viral Instagram video or whatever, which is pretty cool. Just that guy drinking cranberry juice like on the back of a garbage truck or whatever. That's what we should be doing on Instagram to get we can get sheep. Joe riding a sheep, listening to sheep. That would be huge for the channel and for Pink Floyd.
Yeah,
that's right. Let's just try to get old songs charting. Whatever we got to do, let's get them back in the consciousness of today's youth.
Oh, well, if you want to get these songs back in the charts, hit up our Spotify playlist and just play the hell out of it. But there you go. That's 77 for you. Interesting year, I think. Our lists are not what I expected going in.
What did you expect? What did you expect?
I expect a little bit more of like the post-punk from you, a little maybe television or wire or something like that, but you went pretty traditional classic rock.
Yeah, Aerosmith is a winner. It doesn't get any more traditional than that. Woo.
Marquee Moon, the first Talking Heads, all that stuff. I think Brian Eno had an album. To me, they work better as albums. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, there's other stuff off Low you could get in there. It's going to come 78, 79, obviously. So,
all right. So, yeah, you know the drill. Let us know what you think of our lists. Drop your own lists down in the comments as well. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Check the description for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, our website where you can go and vote for which of our 3 winners is your favorite. Who won last week, Joe? You did?
Oh, yeah. Not a huge margin of victory. Somebody to love took it with 47% of the vote. Squonk, runner-up with 30%. Good showing by Squonk. And the French Inhaler, 23%. So that gives me 10 wins on the year. Not going to get one this episode. That'll be Jason. So he'll be right behind me again. He's at 8.5 now. Cramser 5.5. It's going to stay at 5.5 for a while, sounds like.
And then in addition to that, we also got those playlists down there with every track that we selected, as well as all of the worst songs of the year compiled and all of our winners compiled. So go check it out, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.